can kill us all in a heartbeat.
Holding people illegally, it's kidnapping.
The minute they ruled that as long as he was president, he could do no wrong, he became king.
We're here, as you can see, across the street from Fox News. And what Fox is saying on this banner across the street and on all of its various amplifications is that what's happening today, the No Kings rally, is a hate rally, that it's incitement of violence, that it's hatred towards the president. Pretty sure that's wrong. We're about to head over there and show you that it's anything but. Look up there, anti-Trump protesters holding No Kings rallies today in New York, and they list all of the cities. But what they're also saying is that this is a hate rally. They're amplifying members of Congress who are lying. And part of the problem here is that we have two realities. One in facts, one in a set of lies and misinformation. And the thing that's happening across the street, and you see it right there, a Hate America rally, that's the problem. And as we walk down the street, you're gonna see anything but hate. We're gonna get into it, we're gonna talk to people, and we'll see you in a second. We're starting to get into it now. Down there, the rally is in full view, signs, everybody's calm. The idea that this is any kind of hate rally is obviously a lie. And you know, this is a symbolic place to be doing all this in the streets of New York and Times Square. This is usually a place we think of as a sort of tourist destination, but now these are New Yorkers and people coming from around the world to say a simple thing, which is, we don't want a dictatorship. I like this right here. Love your neighbors, do not kidnap them.
with the Quaker group.
Okay. With a Quaker group?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Tell me about your sign.
Well, I've got two sides. Love your neighbor, do not kidnap them. This is a recycled sign. I used it in a previous No Kings protest, and I regret that this is still necessary. And on the other side, we have a quote from Jeremiah, do no wrong or violence to the alien. I don't believe in taking the Bible literally, but it has some good ideas. And this would be one of them. And I'd love it if more people will listen to this one.
And tell me about the kidnapping. That's a reference to ICE, of course.
That's a reference to ICE. I don't think it's legitimate to... I mean, we can debate about... I'm sorry. We seem to be being separated.
Can I just cross this way?
We can debate about how immigration laws should be enforced, but the way they're doing it is not legitimate. And they are not following proper legal process. They're arresting citizens. They're acting in racist ways. They're holding people illegally. It's kidnapping. I don't think what ICE is doing is legitimate.
Great. Let me ask you one more question. You said you're part of a Quaker group. What do you have to say to Republicans who are saying this is a hate rally?
Look at the message we're sending. Love your neighbors. Do not kidnap them. And you see, I'm not the only person in my group who has a sign that says love your neighbors.
Nice.
I think the way that this administration has chosen to enact its immigration agenda is unkind. And though we can have legitimate disagreements about how immigration law should change, how it should be enforced, this is not right, and we need to do something different. Thank you.
Thank you. I think as we get into it, we're now getting the middle of the march. I'm going to start asking people, what does No Kings mean to you? To my mind, it's such an amazing slogan. It makes very clear in two words why, this is a resistance to an attempted dictatorship, or as I'm calling it all the time on the Oath in the Office podcast, a self-coup. But everybody here is going to have their idea of what specifically is the threat. And let's go check it out. Yep. So tell me what your sign says. We've got a picture of it.
Oh yeah, it's your red flags are showing, tiny dictator. So I'm dressed as Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad. One of her catchphrases is red flags. Stacey Abrams' catchphrase is also about red flags.
Nice.
So this is my attempt to tie in a costume to a sign to a protest.
Great. And we're out here, of course, saying No Kings, and we're saying it to Donald Trump. What does it mean to you, No Kings?
I mean, this country is a democracy. He is using the Oval Office as if he is the CEO of America. If you're on his side, you get enriched. If you're not, you can go F yourself. My parents voted for this guy. I'm so disappointed in my parents. I'm out here because I know that 3.5% of the population has to be in the streets in order for a potentially authoritarian regime to know we're not going to roll over. There's 3.5% of this population at least, which I'm pretty sure means either 12 or 14 million people in the streets today translate to that 3.5%.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if I could just ask you one last question, if there's one thing that he's done or that's really sort of solidified why this is an attack on democracy.
I would say the occupation of American cities. To quote another side, this is an open book history test and we're failing.
Love it. Great. Thank you so much. All right, we're right in the midst of it now. Signs everywhere, all peaceful, of course. We talked to someone with a mask on and thinking about dictatorship, and really sending a message not just to Trump but to her parents. We spoke to a Quaker who was here thinking about issues of peace. We've got a rally on the side, the sign about Epstein and F Trump. Tell me about your sign.
I mean, it's why we're here.
Yes.
It's our country.
Yeah.
It's democracy. We all.
I love that sweater.
Thank you. We all belong here, and we all create it, and we all make it the beautiful, wonderful country that it is. And we got a few spoilers.
Absolutely. And when we think about the slogan, of course, we're all here for the slogan, No Kings, and resisting Trump's power grab and his authoritarianism. What does No Kings mean to you, though, in a few sentences?
No Hitler. No going back to Nazi Germany. I mean, and acceptance, love, and appreciation of each other, And quite honestly, there's a part of me that has empathy for him. Because he's a hurt child, and he's got hurt children following him. And I hope that this country gets to a place where we can ask them, who hurt you? And help them with their vulnerability so that we can heal.
Well, that's amazing. How do you have empathy for somebody who's hurt so many? I admire it, but I want to hear more about it.
I'm a therapist.
Okay. It's a natural part of your professional obligation.
Well, no, it's not. It is me.
Yeah.
It is me. I don't like what he does. I don't condone what he does. But if we could get to the root of why he does it, then we got a chance.
And for those who are just learning about the authoritarian power grab and the threat to democracy, what would be one or two things that he's done that you might bring out to explain to somebody who doesn't know why he really is, as we're both saying, a threat to our democracy?
Well, he's uneducated. And when you're uneducated, and he also believes, I think, he wants to believe what he says. There's a part of me that thinks that he doesn't, because he made a claim the other day that he's not going to heaven. And to be able to say that, that what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah.
But I think the emotion in him takes over. He doesn't know how to control his emotion, which makes him a child. He can kill us all in a heartbeat. He can put his finger on that button, and we're done. So my advice is that everybody start living their best lives.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, this country is the great enabler. I don't know why we're enabling him, but as far as the congressman and they did things that they don't want people to know.
And in terms of, as a therapist, is this somebody who could benefit from therapy, or is he a lost cause? I hear some hope in what you're saying.
At this age, I'd say probably not. But there are young ones coming up behind him.
Well, thank you so much. I'm getting closer and really towards the heart of, the world. 42nd Street, Times Square. I've seen a lot of righteous anger, but certainly nothing even approaching violence. I'm going to get closer to some of these ICE signs. So what does your sign say?
It says ICE is for margaritas, not immigrants.
Great, and tell me what that means.
We don't want ICE taking immigrants off the street. Many of them are here legally and they're being ripped away in horrible, demeaning, cruel ways from their families.
And tell me, what does no kings mean to you? That's what we're all doing here, of course.
What it means to me is Trump is ruling this country like a king. He is not following the Constitution. He is taking money that's been appropriated by Congress and just doing basically whatever the hell he wants. And Congress is letting him do it. So we need the people to stand up and make our voices heard to put an end to this.
I love it, and we've got the music in the background. What would you say is one thing that he's doing especially that's acting like a king, that's threatening dictatorship?
Literally everything he does. He's plating the White House in gold. He's building ballrooms. He's, again, expending our money, taking the money away from the people, defunding the Hudson Tunnel project and sending it to Argentina. He's basically doing whatever he wants. Our system of checks and balances has totally let us down.
Great, thanks so much. I love what we just heard. ICE is for margaritas, not for kidnapping people. So much of what's happening might sound abstract, no kings. I've been talking about threats to democracy, but the people out here are bringing it down to very simple things that are happening. The kidnapping of individuals with masks on, acting like thugs, like fascists, as many of the signs say. And I'm so really motivated and excited that this energy is here, because this isn't just a few people complaining. This is the world coming out and saying no to dictatorship and yes to democracy. It really is an amazing atmosphere. Tell me what your sign says and what it's about.
It says dismantle white supremacy, and it is, about that in fact, but a lot of the policies are based in, or at least a class supremacy, and a lot of times a white supremacy, and there's a lot of history to back that up as far as this country goes. The ICE alone is kind of like a stop and frisk, war on law and order. These are all like racial dog whistles that we've heard throughout our country, and they are very, very prominent again. I think there's also Stephen Miller has.
Tell me about the link to No Kings. What does No Kings mean to you? That's what we're all doing here today, is protesting against Trump's attempt at authoritarianism and at dictatorship. So, and I love that symbol, that slogan, No Kings. What does it mean to you?
It means that the government should be of the people and for the people, most specifically, and and no supreme policy or one people being viewed as a higher class can be enacted in a democracy. It would have to be a dictatorship or a monarchy, etc., to enact that in a society.
Great, thanks so much. So much of what you just heard, we're seeing every day. The likes of Stephen Miller and his obvious white supremacy, the really weeding out of anybody of color in the president's cabinet, all of that is such clear betrayal of all the gains after the civil rights movement. Oh, let's do this here. Hi, can I talk to you for a second? Tell me what your sign says and what it's about.
The sign says SCOTUS betrayed us. You can say us or the U.S., whichever you want. It's because they keep breaking their own rules. They keep going against the Constitution. They have broken constitutional law and they started with Citizens United. Yep. They started right there, pushing against individuals, pushing against the rule of law, pushing against voting mattering, and from there they've just escalated. They continue to rule against people being able to use their votes, and they keep voting in favor of big corporations, conglomerates, multimillionaires.
Sums it up. And of course what we're doing here is we're saying in a loud voice, no kings, no monarchy, we're defending democracy. But I think it might be less obvious to people, and so I'm going to ask you, how does all of that relate to what you're saying about the Supreme Court? How are they involved in this question of whether we should have a king?
They're undermining the Constitution and supporting him in unlimited powers. The minute they ruled that as long as he was president, he could do no wrong, he became king. Right there.
Great, I love it, Paul. in the 30s. Tell me about your sign and what it says.
My sign says no kings. On the other side says no kings. And no one paid me to be here. And I love America. What I love about America is democracy, freedom of speech, everyone's ability to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. I believe that the current administration is doing everything in its power to destroy our democracy, to create an oligarchy, to give over to big corporations, to let a very rich few rule our country with impunity and taking the freedom away from the rest of us.
And if I were to ask you in just 2 sentences to sum up, what does no kings mean? What are you
It means
fighting here?
In 1776, we Americans got rid of King George III. We have not had any kings here since then, and this person, whose name I don't even like to say, who is the current president, is trying to be a king. And I disagree with that vehemently. This is the United States of America. We have had no king since 1776, and we are not about to start now.
I love it. And if there was one thing that Donald Trump is doing that sums up why he's such a threat to democracy, why he's threatening to become a monarch, what would you say that is?
I would say that the psychotherapists who assessed him before the 2016 election pretty much told us what he is. He is a malignant narcissist, and he has no regard for anyone. He cares about no one. He doesn't even care about his children and grandchildren who will be destroyed by climate change. He says it's a hoax. So I believe that he is only about himself. He always has been only about himself. I'm a native New Yorker. I have disliked him since forever because we in New York know who he is. He's a con man, he's a failed businessman, and the only reason he is now making more money is because he is the President of the United States and he's using the office to enrich himself and to impoverish the rest of us.
Great, thanks so much. Out here saying no kings, that's a way of reclaiming democracy, of opposing this authoritarian power grab. If you were in a couple of sentences to sum up, what does no kings mean to you? What would you say?
To me, I think it's mostly about fighting against authoritarianism, fighting against the consolidation of power in the executive branch, against the weakness and complacency in Congress and their inability to assert their power over funding and over actually passing laws, against the use of the Department of Justice as a tool of the president to prosecute his political enemies.
Great, thanks so much, really appreciate it. So we're out here saying no kings, and I'm going to just ask each of you first, what does no kings mean to you?
No kings means to me that we have a democracy in this country, we have the rule of law and a constitution to follow, and no government or person should be allowed to bypass those laws.
Great.
I think that means that Trump should be like working for us and we shouldn't be working for him and listening to him, and that he should be like passing laws that benefit like the citizens and support us.
Great.
And I think it means like freedom and we should like support it.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask you, you know, there are a lot of people that are just learning about Trump's attack on democracy. They've seen him as maybe not a great guy, but not necessarily threatening the rule of law or the Constitution. So what is it, if you were to think of an example that really brings out why he's so dangerous to democracy? What's the example you might think about?
The first example for me is due process and following the law and allowing people to present themselves, and going after people and racially profiling is not right.
I just think it's like freedom of speech. He's just trying to silence a lot of people and their opinions. And
yeah, he thinks his critics are his enemies, right?
yeah, like with Jimmy Kimmel and everybody else.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
I think everyone should have freedom of speech and say what they want to say.
Great, great. And are you all related, or
This
okay?
is my mom, and that's
Great.
my other mom.
Oh, how great! And what would you say? We could walk a little and talk. He'll track us. What would you all say to young people? I mean, obviously you're young people. You're out here. You're in school. I take it. How would you get other young people involved and out here?
I would just show him what he's doing, because a lot of my friends don't think that it's a problem. Yeah. And I guess they're not impacted. Seeing how other people are impacted by it, because I think a lot of people who aren't impacted don't really care.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, tell me about Indivisible.
So it's a nationwide organization. It's dedicated to defending democracy. And we have chapters all over the country, opening new chapters all the time. And we're a ground-up organization.
And you were involved in planning this rally today, I take it?
Indivisible, yes,
Yeah.
on the nationwide level, yes.
Great.
And there are indivisible groups in New York City on both the east side and the west side, uptown, downtown. And each one covers a kind of semi-mapped out geographic area. And what's great about it is that Indivisible keeps us informed about what's going on, and there are many opportunities to be involved in different ways. I'm involved in a project called Signs of Solidarity, where we're going into local businesses and helping them prepare in case they are hit with an ICE raid, how to protect their employees and stay within the protect their constitutional rights.
Great. Let me ask you about the flags, which I love. I mean, you've decorated your sign, of course, with 3 American flags. And why at a No Kings rally is it so important to show the American flag? And what does No Kings mean to you, and why do we need the flag to send that message?
Well, I think it was a mistake going back to the 1960s when left liberal groups started burning flags, and because people mistook that to mean that we didn't love our country. And I think that having the flags is an indication that what we're doing is because we love our country and we want it to be the country it could be, to be the best country it could be for all its citizens.
Great. And I'm going to ask you one last question, which is, how does the protests of the 60s, I mean, it sounds like you might have been at some of them, how do they differ, or how are they same from what we're seeing today?
Okay, I was not at the protests of the 60s,
okay.
Though I was of the age where I should have been,
I see.
But I wasn't there. And I think that the protests of the 60s was mostly younger people, mostly. These protests seem to cover the whole range of ages, and which I think is fantastic. And of course, because of the internet and social media, we can reach so many more people than we could in the 60s.
Great, thanks so much.
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me! Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me! Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me! Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me! Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me!
Well, we've met people from all over the country. They have one concern, which is that we're marching towards dictatorship. You heard different versions of it. You heard a kid say, a young person say, I'm really worried, about the shutdown of free speech, that we're not going to be able to be out here marching. She looks at Jimmy Kimmel, how powerful that is, how powerful a person he seems, how permanent a part of our culture. She sees no longer is he allowed to speak on television, and that says to her in very concrete terms, wow, we really might not have a democracy that's defined by freedom of speech. And we heard from a therapist who really gave us this very sweet, frankly, and hopeful idea that we can trust that Donald Trump, is a hurt person, and that there's a reason why he's doing this. And somebody who maybe years ago might have benefited from therapy might be beyond that right now, but the rest of us have to look out for the nation to try to both understand where he's coming from, but also protect ourselves. So we started out, by the way, talking about whether or not this is a hate rally back at Fox, and they're showing that quote from members of Congress claiming that this is inciting violence. And I don't think any of the people that you saw here today could be characterized as anything but ethical, full of love, and really love for their country. You saw the flags out here. You saw people talking about how America, that's what we're defending, not burning the flag, celebrating the flag. And that's an attempt to stop what we tried to stop from the beginning, which is tyranny, a monarch. After all, the American Revolution was a rebellion against autocracy, against monarchy, and this isn't a violent revolution as that was. It's a peaceful attempt to try to reclaim our democracy. And it's anything but hate, anything but violent. This has been a special edition of the Oath in the Office podcast and YouTube channel, and thanks for joining us. And if you like what you hear, join me and John Fugelsang every week as we break down the threats to democracy, look at the attacks on dissent, look at the attempt to send the military illegally into our cities to engage in policing even though the law prohibits it. We explain each of that each week. So if you liked what you heard today and you want to learn more about the threat to democracy, check out the Oath in the Office podcast, check out our YouTube channel, and most of all, let's say together, no kings.